You wake up walking through a forest thick with fog, and you don't remember how you got there. There's no road behind you, no memory of a car or a trail that brought you in, just the fog, and somewhere ahead of you, a light. You follow it. You've been traveling alone, lost and hopeless, and this unsettling hotel is the first sign of anything at all. It looks wrong in a way you can't quite name, but you're out of options, so you go in. The manager is still awake at this hour, and he's willing to give you a room for the night. That's Gregory. He greets you the second you step through the door, asks your name, asks your gender, and hands you a key. This is a normal interaction. You're a guest, not treated like someone who just wandered in from nowhere with no memory of how they got there. You take the room, you sleep, and that's when the story actually begins. In a dream, you meet Death. He's not what you'd expect from someone with that name. He tells you plainly what nobody else in the hotel will. You're trapped here. Gregory House doesn't let people leave on their own, but he gives you a way out anyway. Find 12 lost souls scattered among the hotel's guests and bring them to him, and he'll get you out. You wake up not even knowing where to start. You hear screaming from the room next door, the locked one. Inside is Neko's zombie. He asks you to steal the key to his room from Gregory, so you do, and once he's free, everything about how this hotel actually works starts to make sense. He walks you through it, gives you the basics of surviving here, and hands you the first soul. The first night's other resident is Catherine, the nurse, along with a strange figure called Judgment Boy, a puppet-like presence that rides a track mounted in the ceiling and stops guests to force them into answering a moral question, usually leaning toward the worse of the two options no matter what you say. He's also one of the guests with no hostile horror show at all. He stays neutral to you even after his soul is gone. Catherine is a different problem. She's a pink lizard woman in a nurse's uniform, and she carries an oversized syringe with her everywhere she goes. She has an intense desire to draw blood, human blood, specifically, from anyone she can catch, and if she catches you after you've already taken her soul, she draws a large amount of blood from you with that syringe, and it hurts. More guests check in. Lost Doll, Mummy Papa, Mummy Dog, Cactus Gunman, Cactus Girl. Lost Doll's design is simple and effective. She approaches you with a sad, human-looking face, and then switches to her doll face at the last second, which is enough to startle you. Her whole design maps to a fear of loneliness and abandonment. Mummy Dog and Mummy Papa are a pair. Under the bandages, there's an implication that they're actually mummies rather than living things simply wrapped up, which explains why their weapon of choice against you is poison, administered as a pill, and it doesn't seem to bother either of them the way it would anything else in the hotel. Mummy Papa's version hits harder than Mummy Dog's. Their fear, and the fear they represent, is injury and disease. Cactus Gunman is built around a very specific fear. Not living up to expectations, being weak. Getting his soul means knocking 3 times on the door of whatever room he's currently in without him noticing you. It startles him badly enough that he panics and drops it on the spot. TV Fish is built around the opposite fear from Roulette Boy. And on the 3rd night, we learn the hidden truth with TV Fish, Roulette Boy, and Hell's Chef. TV Fish is built around the opposite fear from Roulette Boy, where Roulette Boy represents fear of the future and the unexpected, TV Fish represents fear of the past, of being unable to escape it. Hell's Chef is exactly what the name suggests. His fear, and the fear he inflicts, is criticism. Insults about cooking specifically. It's part of why his ongoing dynamic with Catherine in the hotel never goes anywhere. She makes him meals to try to win him over, the same way she's tried with other guests, and it never works out for either of them. The 4th night, we have more check-ins. Clockmaster and my son are built around a fear of aging, and the two of them can perform a combined horror show together. Catching you sends you either forward or backward, 6 hours, along with a heavy dose of damage. Angel Dog and Devil Dog represent fear of death and the afterlife itself, the most direct expression of what this whole hotel is actually circling. By this point, the rules of Gregory House are fully in motion. As you collect more souls, more guests check in, and more of the hotel opens up for you to explore. But taking a soul isn't the end of a guest's involvement in your night. Once you've stolen a guest's soul, encountering them again triggers what the hotel calls a horror show. And it only happens after you've already taken what they were carrying. Carrying other souls with you reduces the damage you take if you're caught. But if the guest whose soul you're holding catches you specifically, they take it back and inflict you with melancholy, a status that keeps you from running at full speed, while you're forced to go get that same soul all over again. Most of the actual soul collecting is a matter of watching guests through keyholes, learning their patterns, and timing your move around them. Because once they know you're there and you're still holding what's theirs, they're faster than you are. You can't outrun them. You can only avoid being seen in the first place. And onto the 5th and 6th nights, where the last of the story is revealed, and we learn what's actually been driving all of it. Gregory isn't the one in charge of this hotel. Not really. It's his mother, who feeds on the lost souls scattered through Gregory House to stay young. Every soul you take is a soul she loses, and the more of them you collect, the more she comes to see you as a direct threat to the thing keeping her alive. By the 5th night, she's done letting you wander. She locks you in the dungeon. You get out anyway, and when you do, she confronts you directly in the lobby. The game's one and only boss fight, and it's violent enough that the fight itself breaks the hotel's front door off its frame. You escape, but you go back. On the 6th and final night, you return, not for a soul this time, but for Neko Zombie, the one guest in this entire hotel who never once tried to hurt you. You ask him to come with you. He refuses, tells you to hurry up and leave without him. Once you're gone, he confronts Gregory and Gregory's mother himself, and sets the entire hotel on fire. He doesn't get to leave. He was never going to, but he makes sure you do. If this one resonated, subscribe. New essays drop weekly, and you never know what's coming next. Share it with someone who'd get it, and leave a comment. I want to know which door this opened for you. Mystery Compendium, the archive is always open.